5, 1918.
5 important facts. 1. Crude oil is crude. 2. Natural gas is pure. 3. Pennzoil is the first motor oil made from natural gas, not crude. 4. It gives you unbeatable engine protection. And 5. You can't beat that. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Available at AutoZone and AutoZone.com.
You respect strong values in people and price tags. Good on you. Now suits are starting at $199.99. Select dress and long sleeve woven shirts are 3 for $99.99, plus take an extra 30% off clearance. Now through Sunday, only at Men's Warehouse.
Next on Weather Underground, tracking strong storms from the plains to the Gulf Coast to the mid-Atlantic. See where heavy rain and damaging winds are a significant threat right now and who's at risk for some rough travel conditions and even flooding in the hours to come. That will include Florida, where dangerous weather's happening currently. We're going to show you how long the drenching tropical rain will hammer the Sunshine State. And a drone captures this crazy scene on the Great Lakes as a cliff collapses. But wait until you find out what was happening right next to that. And has the summer been hot? Well, you better believe it. We're going to show you why July now stands head and shoulders above the rest and the hot spots on the planet that really stand out. And one U.S. state is heating up like it's never done before. Plus, the Atlantic hurricane season making headlines for what's not happening. Hurricane expert Dr. Rick Knapp explains why you can't let your guard down with September looming. And our week-long series on rising sea levels and cities most at risk continues. Tonight, New York City and why it's so vulnerable and what's being done to protect it. That's coming your way next on Weather Underground. And thanks for staying with us tonight on Weather Underground. I'm Mike Bettis. Alex Wilson off this evening. Little League World Series being played in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. But you know what? In came the storms and out came the tarp. The grounds crew doing a heck of a job there. It's like pro stuff there, right? Well, have you seen some of these kids play? They're like pros at 12, right? But the unfortunate thing for us in Pennsylvania, whether it be Western PA or Central PA or even now getting into Eastern PA, we've got storms. And some of those storms are going to cause us some issues. And everyone, yes, tip of the cap, if you will, to the grounds crew there. There's a look at the big picture and what's going on the radar tonight. Plenty of storms really all over the map. State College, gray and stormy overhead. In New Orleans, we've had flooding rain today, and we're going to have more issues along that stationary front. It really has become a big focus for the storms for the past several days. That front originally was a cold front, diving its way south, and it stalled out. And next thing you know, you get a stationary front. All right, what's going on the satellite? I think it gives you a really good indication what's happening in the atmosphere. You've got an overall steering flow that takes everything southwest and northeast here. A couple of embedded supercell thunderstorms within that. Big anvil blow off of those storms. So some well-defined storms here, and some of the tallest ones are happening right here in Pennsylvania and New York. And we, in fact, have a tornado warning here in New York. This is now very close to Elmira, maybe even coming right near Elmira. So Chemung County right now under a severe thunderstorm that's producing a tornado. So Elmira, heads up on the storm coming in. Our warning until 7:30 this evening. They may come right over I-86. All right, we time this out for you. Waverly around 7:22 and Say around 7:27. Owego here around 7:39. But even in Elmira, you should be getting to your basement if you have one. If not, lowest level being the first floor, ground level floor of your building, and make sure you get into an interior room. Nothing with windows, and stay away from electronics as well. Could be plenty of lightning within the storm. Multiple trees down on County Road 3 and Chapel Road here in South Thurston. There's been a report of a funnel cloud as well, but please take that warning seriously and get to shelter quickly. Take you down into Pennsylvania here in Oliver, Huntington, and Mifflin counties under a severe thunderstorm warning. Then we take you down into North Carolina. Between Fayetteville and Raleigh, we've got a severe thunderstorm warning here. Right along I-95, by the way. That's Harnett and Johnston County right now. So if you're in Anderson Creek or in Clayton, inside is a solid place for you to be at this point. All these storms will likely continue here for the next couple of hours. There's a look at the future radar. Still unstable air, probably until 10, 11, 12 o'clock tonight. And then the storms eventually lose some of their instability that keeps them sustained here Here we are 1 o'clock at night. The storm's not nearly as bad as they were earlier in the day, but guess what? A lot of the storms will refire again tomorrow, especially down in the hot, humid, unstable air along the stationary front in the southeast. Take you down into Florida, Panama City, getting hit particularly hard with storms right now, and storms getting closer and closer to Tallahassee. There's a look at the complex of storms on the future radar. North Carolina and South Carolina, you're likely to see the storms last the longest tonight, may in some instances last through the night. More storms off the coast in the morning, but again, it's that front that becomes the focus of all the storms here for at least the next 24 to 48 hours. A lot of storms for us in Florida, including the heavy rain that's been coming down for us in Fort Myers on the west coast of Florida here. We're going to have issues. You know, one thing I'd recommend you do is always check your gutters to make sure your gutters are cleaned out, make sure the drains out in front of your home are cleared out so that the water can drain efficiently into the storm drains on your street. But bucketfuls of rain for us here, Dr. Nab. This is a story that you have been closely watching for weeks now, and this week in particular poses risks that maybe previous weeks didn't.
Yeah, those fronts that bring some relief from the heat and humidity for much of the eastern U.S. when they come south, those fronts never get down the Florida Peninsula, but what they do is they cause the pattern change to bring enhanced moisture into the state of Florida, more than usual for their wet season, and a daily onslaught of heavy rainfall, especially for the central and eastern metro areas. But today, it's gotten so moist that the west coast of Florida has gotten in on it significantly, including what you just saw in Fort Myers. There's that front that's laying down over the southeast, but again, that leaves Florida open to the moisture coming out of the Caribbean. That front causes the high pressure ridge to sag to the south, and it causes a south to southwesterly flow into the state of Florida. So you can see the low clouds off the east coast coming this way, off the west coast are coming this way. So that's a very moist flow out of the Caribbean. And even late into the day and maybe even overnight in this kind of pattern, you can have heavy thunderstorms. Southeast Florida, Miami, Fort Lauderdale had their heavy rain earlier today, but the damage has already been done. We still have a flood warning in effect southwest of downtown Miami in the Country Walk, Hammocks, and Crossings area. It's where the turnpike meets the Don Shula, and that's where we have had some not only water-covered roads, but a few structures getting water into them. Until 8 p.m., careful on the roads, turn around, don't drown. We had a flood advisory in effect in the Fort Myers, Punta Gorda area. That has since expired. There's one east of Naples, but the weather is still bad in southwest Florida. Lots of lightning. So what you just saw in Fort Myers is going to be going on for a little while longer. And then here you see the beginnings of this twist, this general area of low pressure that could form along this old front, Mike. And in a little bit, I'll show you what is going to become of this, who's going to get the heaviest rain, and could this become a tropical depression?
Let's hope not.
Yeah, let's hope not. But we're going to get the rain no matter what. I'll show you where.
All right, Dr. Knapp, thank you for that. To the plains we go, and hello to you in Omaha today. It's been generally cloudy skies. Temperatures a little bit cooler than average for you here, mostly in the 70s for us in eastern Nebraska today, but severe weather is back in the cards for us, unfortunately. And I-29 is probably going to be one of those problem highways for you, unfortunately. Severe thunderstorm watch in effect. That does include South Dakota, and then maybe little portions here of Minnesota as well. Our watch until 9 o'clock this evening. Plenty of storms within that, including severe thunderstorm warnings and a tornado warning as well. Take you right into that west of I-29. Tornado warning for you in Kingsbury, Minor, and Sanborn counties here. That's until 6:30. Take shelter quickly with that storm moving fairly quickly here to the east. In Carthage, it's going to be there around 6:09. So again, into your tornado shelter, your basement as quickly as you can. Severe thunderstorm watch in effect until midnight tonight from St. Joseph down toward Kansas City. So I-29, I-35, 470, 435, all could be affected. All right, into the high plains we go, and to Colorado. You set the record for the largest hailstone. Or wait a second, did you? Check out this huge hailstone. This is incredible stuff that fell in Colorado this weekend. This in the town of Otis. The largest report we had was 4.5 inches, and that ended up tying a Colorado state record for largest hailstone in state history. Well, then, just 2 days later, you did it again, because this hailstone then fell in Bethune. And the Colorado Climate Center and the National Weather Service in Goodland now confirmed that this one was bigger, 4.83 inches in circumference. or in diameter, I should say, and 12 inches in circumference. So that now is the official largest hailstone in Colorado state history. Again, amazing that they came literally just 2 days apart. Doesn't even come into the top 5 largest hailstones in state history. And by the way, number 1, if you're wondering, South Dakota, 8 inches in diameter. All right, what's still on tap tonight here on Weather Underground? Let's show you the stories. Look out below, the hottest, and the dilemma. Well, it looks like something that might happen in the Arctic. A cliff gives way. See where this was and who was underneath it when it collapses. We all know that July is a hot month, but this past July eclipsed all other months before it. How it became a record setter and the unnerving trend that's impossible to ignore. And as global temperature rises, so too does the sea level. For America's most populated city, it's a dilemma that needs addressed sooner than later. But the question is, how?
I feel golden. I feel like glitter on my shoulders. I feel golden. I feel like, oh, I feel golden.
Supplies from 50 cents for every school list.
At Safe Light Auto Glass, we really pride ourselves on making it easy for you to get your windshield fixed.
Turn in your science papers.
This teacher always puts her students first.
I did mine. You did? Oh, I can't wait to read it.
So when she had auto glass damage, she chose Safe Light. With Safe Light, she could see exactly when we'd be there.
You must be Pascal.
Yes, ma'am. Saving her time so she can save the science project.
Safe Light Repair, Safe Light Replace.
The Joseph A. Bank half-yearly clearance event. Save up to 80% off everything. Suits for $99, dress and sports shirts for $19, polos, pants, and shorts for $15. The half-yearly clearance event, only at Joseph A. Bank.
Welcome to my
Barb, you left me hanging on the high harmony there.
If you ride, you get it. Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Finally, an Eggo thick and fluffy waffle all to myself. Whoa. Karen, you gotta try this. Breakfast in bed, major husband points.
Would you Lego your Eggo?
With all-day comfort for all-day fun, Depend FitFlex underwear features maximum absorbency, ultra-soft fabric, and new beautiful designs for your best comfort and protection guaranteed. Life's better when you're in it. Be there with Depend.
This is the story of John Smith. Not this John Smith, or this John Smith, or any of the other hundreds of John Smiths that are Humana Medicare Advantage members. No, it's this John Smith, who met with Humana to create a personalized care plan. At Humana, we have more ways to care for your health, and we find one that works just for you, no matter what your name is.
Hey, Chuck Woolery here with a bit of a confession. I have a new favorite emu oil. Forget the imitators. There's only one Blue Emu. Get American-made Blue Emu. It works fast and you won't stink. You're on.
You wouldn't accept an incomplete job from anyone else. Why accept it from your allergy pills? Flonase Sensimist. Nothing stronger, nothing gentler, nothing lasts longer. Flonase Sensimist. 24-hour non-drowsy allergy relief.
To get the most out of your mornings, you need to know what weather is heading your way. America's Morning Headquarters has you covered.
We've already got some rain out there this morning.
So start every day with the best in weather. Join Jim Cantori, Stephanie Abrams, and Jen Carfagno. Weekday mornings starting at 5 for AMHQ on the Weather Channel.
Coming up tonight on the Weather Channel at 8, Weather Gone Viral. And at 9, SOS, How to Survive. Then at 10, Top 10.
Thanks for staying with us here on Weather Underground tonight. A couple of tornado warnings to keep you in tune of. Plenty of stormy weather for us in the eastern half of the country. Really violent weather, though, in Pennsylvania and then up through New York as well, with a new tornado warning in effect here for us. This is just over the Pennsylvania state line and into New York for us tonight. So we'll zoom down into the storm. Severe thunderstorm warning, flash flood warning, and unfortunately a tornado warning. It's got Elmira right in its sights here. The hail core is probably gone just south of you here in Elmira. And the rotation may also be just south of you. We are urging you to take shelter quickly, though. You don't have any time to waste in Chemung. About 7:23, the storm is there. So we're talking about maybe 10 minutes from now, and in Sayre around 7:37. Then we take you back into the plains here. A line of thunderstorms here from Fargo to north of Sioux Falls here in I-29. An awful place for you to drive right now. And a tornado warning for you here in South Dakota. That's going to be just west of I-29 here. We'll zoom down in, and you can see right near Carthage, there's a hail core north of Carthage, but we potentially could have a tornado here with a tornado warning until 6:30 tonight in Kingsbury and in Minor counties tonight. You can see the rotation under here very close to Carthage, so into a basement, storm cellar if you have one. If you don't, ground level floor, be there. Don't be on the second story of your home. Be on the first floor in an interior room, maybe something like a closet or a bathroom or under a staircase, someplace that doesn't have windows and a lot of walls between you and the tornado. There's the direction. May come very close to Grafton or between Matthews and Grafton this evening. Again, the overall picture shows a ton of lightning, and sometimes when you get these big lightning jumps, as we call them, where you go from a small amount of lightning to a large amount of lightning in a short amount of time, just like that happened there. Watch that loop. That's incredible. That sometimes can be an indication of a tornado. Some research has shown that. So we had a lightning jump there, but you take a look at Matthews, 6:21, the storm will be there, and in Bellevue around 6:34. We'll keep you up to date on the severe weather, but how about a really picturesque scene over Lake Superior? Nice, huh? And then this happened. A part of the cliffside here just collapses and gives way and tumbles into the lake. A drone captured this, and the entire thing over the National Lake Shore here. What's more, the group of kayakers was right there when it happened.
It was about 8 boats. It was just like a normal tour. We went out there. I didn't think anything special was going to happen, that's for sure. And about a 10-foot wide rockfall happened. It wasn't very large. And then that made me get out of there. And I surfed away from it, and I was already pretty blown away. Then we turned around, and about 30 seconds later, after that larger one fell, this one went, and we thought we were at a safe distance. We got far away, and then that came down, and that was... The aroma of smell was just crazy. I never thought I'd see that, hear it, smell it, all the things. I was just blown away. It's definitely a wake-up call, because I was sitting around just right there about a minute before that fell, and it's pretty scary, I know. A lot of people think these rocks are really stable and they're really safe, but as we can see, that's not the case at all. I'm definitely not getting under these rocks again, that's for sure. It's pretty incredible. I mean, though it is pretty scary, it's also it's pretty awesome.
Really stunning stuff, and thankfully everyone's okay. Coming up, diving into the problem that's surrounding the Big Apple, we'll examine why New York City is on our list of cities most vulnerable to sea level rise. And we've whipped out the school photos, and the Weather Channel's going back to school, or is that going back to cool? Who's that at the top center of the screen?
Having the right coverage is important, especially when it comes to retirement. Did you know that Medicare doesn't provide coverage for dental? This could soak you with some big bills and a mouthful of trouble. With Physicians Mutual, we'll have you prepared, rain or shine.
At Physicians Mutual, we know that planning for retirement can feel scary.
I see you're about to turn 65.
You know what that means. Medicare.
It doesn't cover dental. What high bills you'll have.
Actually, we're getting a Physicians Mutual.
Oh, great. She'll be covered.
Retire with confidence. We'll listen and find you the coverage you need.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
Every day, millions of people looking for healthy skin reach for Cetaphil, recommended by dermatologists, awarded by Allure, and most of all, loved by skin. Cetaphil, the cleanser sensitive skin loves.
Good cast, buddy.
Thanks.
From laser-measured floor liners to sunshade, the cup phone to secure your phone, to tech liner for your bed and tailgate, bump step.
Oh, can I hold it?
Yeah, good job.
To no-drill mud flaps.
Wow, look at that.
WeatherTech has everything you need to keep your truck protected all year long. Order yours today at WeatherTech.com, the ultimate protection for your vehicle.
To get the most out of your mornings, you need to know what weather is heading your way. America's Morning Headquarters has you covered.
We've already got some rain out there this morning.
So start every day with the best in weather. Join Jim Cantori, Stephanie Abrams, and Jen Carfagno. Weekday mornings starting at 5 for AMHQ on the Weather Channel.
What will you do when the power goes out? Power outages are increasing and lasting longer than ever before. They can be unpredictable, inconvenient, and disruptive to your life. Your safety and security may be at risk. But with a Generac home standby generator, your life goes on, uninterrupted, because you'll have power when you need it the most. Generac home standby generators provide peace of mind for you and your loved ones.
You can't replace that sense of security that you get when you have a Generac.
Having a Generac is definitely peace of mind.
When the power goes out, I'm like, go ahead. I've got the Generac.
Get the safety, security, and peace of mind your family deserves with a home standby generator from Generac. Call to schedule a free in-home assessment and receive a free 1,200-watt inverter generator or a 40-volt cordless blower up to a $500 value. Call or go online today. Power your life with Generac.
Join Liana Brackett.
And here we go.
Paul Goodlow.
If you like that, I got more on the way.
And Dr. Greg Postel. Weekend mornings starting at 9 on Weekend Recharge.
Currently in our area, 84 degrees under sunny skies. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, low 64. Winds west-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Friday, mostly cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 85. Friday night, mostly cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 66. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Some pretty nasty rainstorms in Nebraska this morning. This in Hastings, Nebraska. Winds gusting here about 50 miles per hour. And a wind-driven rain that's all sideways here. The trees holding strong, as they often do. That's what a good trunk and some good roots will do for you, right? We all could have a good trunk and good roots, right? I feel like it's the good foundation helps you out, right? All right, we've got some rocking and rolling storms here in South Dakota right now, right along I-29, and a watch that goes until 9 o'clock tonight. Storms are hammering us right now, really from just south of Fargo, just north of Sioux Falls here tonight. I-29 is a terrible highway to drive on at this point. And just outside of Carthage, tornado warning in effect as well. That includes Kingsbury and Minor counties. Our warning until 6:30 tonight, so take shelter quickly here with this storm on you. Grafton 622 and Oldham here around 641 is when a possible tornado could be very close to you. And then Farmington around 656 if it holds together there. Take it down into the Kansas City and St. Joseph area. Severe thunderstorm watch in effect here, but newly issued tornado watch now across Kansas does include now Salina and Emporia. So 335, 35, and I-70 You've got a tornado watch until midnight tonight. By the way, it was just this week that we had semis blown over with high winds on I-70. Don't want to run that risk again tonight, so be careful if you're driving on I-70. Make sure every time you stop, gas, rest stop, dinner, you're checking the app, checking the radar to make sure everything is okay. Our watch here, we'll see more storms fire across Missouri this evening. Plenty of storms have already developed here, but this is an area ripe right now back across I-70 where we could see more and more severe storms and potentially tornadic storms. Well, let's talk tropics right now. How about western Japan? Do you see what happened here? Well, we had Typhoon Krosa. This was one with a monster eye to it. Now, it wasn't terribly strong, and that's a good thing, at least not by Western Pacific standards, but it just had this massive eye and did create some issues, at least along the coast here. There was a landslide report. There was some flash flooding. There were cancellations of hundreds of flights, so there were definitely some disruptions. But the trend, if you've noticed lately, if you've been paying attention to the tropics, has been Western Pacific, Western Pacific, Western Pacific, and literally nothing has happened in the Atlantic Basin for a month now, more than a month.
Yeah, and this often happens where some basins are active and other basins are not, and that's because of circulations around the globe that tend to favor upward motion and thunderstorms and tropical storm and hurricane formation in one part of the globe, and then you get a compensating sinking and suppression kind of pattern setting up somewhere else. But the West Pacific, not only have we had multiple typhoons, but we got generally active thunderstorms all the way just a little bit past the date line. But if you look farther east, even though it has been an El Nino year and it's still neutral, it's not like it's a La Nina, it's not cooler than average by a long stretch here, the thunderstorms are very suppressed. And then it's even more so here on the Atlantic side. Now, you know, the West Pacific is the largest area of really warm water, so it's typically got a lot of upward motion in it, but this is a little bit ridiculous because if we draw this in a cross-section vertically, what's happening right now is we've got a lot of upward motion because of the really warm waters, the thunderstorms in the Pacific, the West Pacific, but then we're getting sinking motion just about everywhere else. But that isn't usually what sets up.
What usually is in place here that would drive the basins?
Well, usually we get two circulations going between the West Pacific and the Atlantic. Let's say there's an El Nino like we had earlier this year. That would mean you'd get rising motion of the warm waters in the East Pacific, and then you get compensating sinking motion in the West Pacific and the Atlantic. But then usually what happens when this goes to neutral or La Nina, right now we're in neutral, you tend to get a little bit more sinking here, but then compensating upward motion in the Atlantic and the West Pacific. So you get two circulations forming. I got to believe that at some point the Atlantic waters will warm up and we'll start to see upward motion on the Atlantic side and get back to normal. But it's hard to understand why we're just getting that one big circulation right now.
But it generally, August in through September is that time that we're going to watch for things that can change and change quickly.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, Dr. Nab, thank you. Hey, we know it's heading back to school for a lot of you, and well, we thought we'd have a little fun here at the Weather Channel. Let's see if you can guess some of your favorite Weather Channel meteorologists. Who's that top center? Who's that bottom right?
Maybe the bottom right one is easy.
Maybe
just
upper right?
Picture the bottom right without the hair.
Who are these people? Huh? Who are these people? That's Cantori, bottom right. Stephanie Abrams, upper right. Yours truly, top center. Did you recognize Mark Elliott or maybe Alex Wallace?
You and I looked a lot alike as kids.
We did.
As a real estate agent, I've learned it's excess moisture that causes musty odors. Pro tip, use Damp Rid.
New Damp Rid drop-in tabs attract and trap excess moisture out of the air, eliminating musty odors.
Works every time.
Get rid of dampness.
Damp Rid.
No one loves us quite like our pets. Now, watch Pets 2 and share the love with every member of your family.
My doggies.
So, Kim, you going for a big Drive Safe and Save discount?
Yep, using the app. I've been quite vigilant.
Sharon says step on it. The meeting started.
Okay, write her back. Dear Sharon, don't mess with my discount.
Faster, Mommy. I gotta go to the bathroom.
I do too, honey, but we're gonna hold it for Mommy's discount. Easy, easy.
But you're in labor.
Don't mess with my discount.
Get a discount up to 30% with Drive Safe and Save from State Farm.
first 6-function multi-pro tailgate, available only on the next generation GMC Sierra.
Step up to GMC and get over $10,000 total value on this next generation 2019 Sierra Crew Cab SLT. Or get 20% below MSRP on these 2019 Double Cab and SLE Crew Cab models with a traditional tailgate.
Your brain is an amazing thing, but as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. In clinical trials, Prevagen has been shown to improve short-term memory. Prevagen, healthier brain, better life.
Every day, millions of people looking for healthy skin reach for Cetaphil, recommended by dermatologists. Awarded by Allure, and most of all, loved by skin. Cetaphil, the cleanser sensitive skin loves.
How do you know you can trust PPG paint? Because the proof is all around you. It covers the buildings you work in, and the offices you work from, the planes you fly in, and the homes you return to. With over 135 years of innovative solutions for any paint project, you can trust the paint that's all around you. Paint with PPG.
You respect strong values in people and price tags. Good on you. Now suits are starting at $199.99. Select dress and long sleeve woven shirts are 3 for $99.99, plus take an extra 30% off clearance. Now through Sunday, only at Men's Warehouse.
At Domino's, we're more than just pizza for $5.99. We're $5.99 bread twists, $5.99 sandwiches, $5.99 pastas, $5.99 chicken, and yes, $5.99 pizza too. We didn't stop at pizza, and you don't have to either.
And the record for longest lasting AA battery goes to Energizer Ultimate Lithium, Guinness World Records title holder for longest lasting AA battery.
To get the most out of your mornings, you need to know what weather is heading your way. America's Morning Headquarters has you covered.
We've already got some rain out there this morning.
So start every day with the best in weather. Join Jim Cantori, Stephanie Abrams, and Jen Carfagno. Weekday mornings starting at 5 for AMHQ on the Weather Channel.
Welcome back to Weather Underground. Imagine you're a passenger on a plane, you look out the window, what do you see? Big old thunderstorm with lightning out your window here. Passenger says they're about 20,000 feet, somewhere between Atlanta and Savannah. And then they see this big thunderstorm that's probably a solid 30,000 feet tall. At least they're going around it, not through it, right? You know, they've gotten so good with the radar, the onboard radars on the planes, that they can kind of steer in and around them. And flights are very efficient these days, but nonetheless, pretty cool sight, that's for sure. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We've got more on the storms coming up here in just a moment, but we're going to take you to State College, Pennsylvania this evening. There have been some stormy skies around. You're looking over Beaver Stadium, campus here at Penn State University. You know, if you're walking from, one part of campus to the other, make sure you have the jacket with you or the umbrella. We've had quite a few storms that have threatened for us here throughout the evening, storms that have surrounded us in Penn State. We've got some big storms, Williamsport, a lot of different areas where severe thunderstorm warnings or even tornado warnings have been ongoing, lining up from Lake Ontario. You take a look at numerous areas, I-86, right along the Pennsylvania and New York state line here. We've got pretty strong storms. They're not moving all that fast either. Training thunderstorms here, producing some flooding to go along with the severe thunderstorm warning. So in McKean and in Potter counties, heads up here. Again, not to mention pretty intense rainfall rates here that just don't want to back off. Then we take you a little bit farther south now into Charlottesville, Virginia is right here. So between Staunton and Charlottesville, severe thunderstorm warning here in Albemarle and Augusta counties. That's until 8:15 this evening. So we've got about a solid 45 minutes left on that warning. Elizabeth City and then through the Outer Banks, strong storms for you here. That'll be from Nags Head Northbound here, take you up toward Duck, and a few showers for you around Virginia Beach as well. And storms coming right across the Virginia and North Carolina state line tonight as well. But bigger picture, plenty of stormy weather out there, and the future radar shows more storms through the evening. Next couple hours, we still think there'll be active storms out there. It may take some time for the air to stabilize a little bit once the sun sets, and you can see overnight much improved conditions, although storms will return tomorrow. As you know, we've got old boundaries here that are just stuck in place, including a stationary front across the coastal Carolinas, then back down across the panhandle of Florida as well. So 8 p.m. this evening, plenty of storms out there. But what might be a little bit different about our southern storms is they may have some staying power tonight, because we have a noticeable front here that may continue the storms through the night tonight, especially here on some of the beaches here, maybe around Cape Fear, Wilmington, down toward Hilton Head tonight, and storms down across I-10 as well. So I wouldn't bank on storms completely fizzling out tonight across the south. And with any heating tomorrow, they'll just explode once again like they did today. So there's 7 p.m. tomorrow. Plenty of storms all on the beaches here. So just be ready for that. All right, let's bring in Dr. Knapp again, talk more about the flooding concerns here. That stationary front is an interesting feature, because a lot of times, especially in the wintertime, it's really neat to see those fronts come crashing all the way down through Florida. It doesn't really happen that way in the summertime, and there are consequences of that.
Yeah, there really is an atmospheric stop sign in the Florida Panhandle. No fronts allowed, and it really does change the pattern south of there over the Florida Peninsula, and brings a very juicy air mass out of the south and southwest into Florida. And talk about staying power, like Mike said, we're going to have some thunderstorms lasting a lot longer into the evening in this kind of pattern than you would usually see on a typical afternoon thunderstorm day in Florida. Southwest Florida is really busy right now. I-75, Naples to Fort Myers, that area, and up into Cape Coral and Punta Gorda. Very heavy thunderstorms, could be some ponding on the roadways, and southeast Florida had some heavy rain earlier between about 2 and 4 this afternoon. Southwest of Miami, down in the Kendall area, the crossings, the Hammocks, Country Walk, all that area where the turnpike meets the Don Shula Expressway, up to 7 inches of rain in a pretty short amount of time, and that led to flooding. And we got some water-covered roads, some water getting into structures. There's still a flood warning in that area till 8 p.m. local time. And then on the northern side of things, again, that front sagging down, like Mike showed you, we're starting to get this general area of spin. And on the north side of it, in the Florida Panhandle, got some very heavy thunderstorms with vicious lightning on I-10 west of Tallahassee, Gadsden County, in the Quincy area. You've got a flood advisory in effect till 8 p.m. local time. So again, as we go through tonight and into tomorrow, this is the beginning of that pattern we're going to have to watch for several days, where an area of general low pressure starts to set up over northern Florida and southern Georgia. Thunderstorms could lead to some flash flooding, Mike.
All right, Dr. Knapp, thank you. We're going to take you to New York City this evening as we take a look over the harbor, a beautiful Statue of Liberty, dead center of your screen there. Loving what the view looks like tonight. Really, truly, you can get so many different great perspectives of New York, but the city really faces some risks, including the inherent risk of a rising sea level. Now, all this week here on Weather Underground, we've been highlighting different U.S. cities with a lot to lose as the sea levels rise as projected through 2050, which, if you think about it, it's not that far from now, it's just 31 years from now. Tonight, we focus on New York City. So we're joined here by our experts. We've got Carl Parker, Dr. Rick Knapp with us this evening. You think about New York City. There's a lot at stake here. It's our most populous city. It is the often considered the financial capital of the world. And one thing I think about, Carl, and you've mentioned this before, everything's underground.
Yeah.
Everything is underground.
Right. You've got this elaborate subway system, and what it amounts to is a giant drainage system. That's precisely what happened in the case of Sandy. Now, you've got 5,600 openings in the subway system. So you're talking about vents and manholes and stairways, escalators and elevators, 5,600. And so the plan, the MTA's plan, is to get out there and seal up all 5,600 openings. Now, That's 5,600 chances to make a mistake. But they're trying to do that the next time there's a storm. And if they can do that, that's going to go a long way towards preventing the sort of damage that we saw in Sandy.
And you remember in Sandy, one of the big problems was water getting into the infrastructure of those high rises. So even though there wasn't really strong wind on those high rises and they weren't damaged, they were flooded in the lowest levels, and they had so much of their electrical and other infrastructures in the basement. And so that's just an idea of how you have to build differently and think differently in order to deal with storm surge and in order to deal with sea level rise. You don't want critical facilities with vulnerable basements being put in places that could be inundated by sea level in the coming decades.
Sure. I think about, listen, how we're surrounded by water. The Atlantic can come in to lower Manhattan. You've got the East River. You've got the Hudson River. I mean, we have a lot at stake here in New York.
Yeah, one of the most important little patches of land in the entire country, surrounded by water. It is, as you mentioned, a financial engine of not only New York, but, probably the world as well.
Wall Street is down there in lower Manhattan.
Wall Street is down there as well. And so, they came up with a plan this year to protect lower Manhattan. And in the Two Bridges area, what they want to do is create some flip-up or deployable barriers. And then at Battery Park, they want to create a levee, a big mound essentially at Battery Park. Both of those measures should protect the areas from 100-year storms through 2050. So that's going to go a long way towards doing that. But one of the problem areas is going to be the financial district and also the seaport, because when you think about it, you've seen these pictures, you look at the buildings, there's nothing between the buildings and the East River but the FDR. That's all you've got is that highway there. And so there's really nothing they can do with it as it is right now. So what they're planning to do is actually extend Manhattan Island out into the East River by about 500 feet. About 2 blocks are going to build new land, and they're going to create a similar sort of berm to the one that they're going to put in Battery Park.
But what happens to the river then? The river gets narrower and hence higher, right?
Well, I assume so, yeah, but that is the plan right now. And also, by the way, it's going to be really expensive, about $10 billion. They are counting on getting some federal funding to do that, but are they going to get that federal funding now?
Everybody needs federal funding. We've talked all this week. Charleston needs federal funding. Tampa needs. New York will need more than any other place.
And it was federal funding that was necessary to build the hurricane risk reduction system around the New Orleans area. You need something like that around New York City to protect it as much as it needs it.
New York has got its own set of really legitimate problems, as every city does, but maybe theirs are bigger than anyone else's.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thanks very much. We invite you to join us again tomorrow night as we talk about Miami's unique challenges and solutions to rising sea levels. So many different geographic locations in this country, on our coasts, that are vulnerable. And still to come on Weather Underground, it is official, folks. July 2019 is now the world's hottest month ever recorded. What it means to the planet, how it could mean bad news for one U.S. state in particular.
It's easy to shrink into your own little world. Especially these days.
I think it's here.
Especially at this age.
Where are we going?
It's a big, beautiful world out there. Wow. Sometimes you just need a little help seeing it.
The 3-row Subaru Ascent. Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
Get 0% during the Subaru A Lot to Love event.
Jimmy's gotten used to his whole room smelling like sweaty odors. Yep, he's gone nose blind. He thinks it smells fine, but his mom smells this. Luckily for all your hard-to-wash fabrics, there's Febreze Fabric Refresher. Febreze doesn't just mask, it eliminates odors you've gone nose blind to. And try Febreze Unstoppables for fabric. With up to twice the fresh scent power, you'll want to try it again and again, and maybe just one more time. Indulge in irresistible freshness. Febreze Unstoppables. Breathe happy.
To look at me now, you don't see psoriasis. You see clear skin.
Cosentyx can help people with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis find clear skin that can last. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about an infection or symptoms if your inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen, or if you've had a vaccine or plan to. Serious allergic reactions may occur.
How sexy are these elbows?
Ask your dermatologist about Cosentyx.
Exactly. Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Nice. But, what's up with your partner?
Not again. Mimo, that's your reflection.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
When you eat Reese's for dessert, is it over too fast? Well, then chill your Reese's. You'll eat it slower. I wouldn't know. I swallow mine whole. Like a duck. Not sorry. Reese's.
Budget meeting. Sweet.
You compare last quarter to this quarter.
It's no wonder everything seems a little better with the creamy taste of Philly. Made with fresh milk and real cream. It must be the Philly.
Every day, millions of people looking for healthy skin reach for Cetaphil. Recommended by dermatologists. Awarded by Allure. And most of all, loved by skin. Cetaphil, the cleanser sensitive skin loves.
What's better than one night of Olive Garden? How about two? All new $5 take-home entrees. Enjoy any meal here, then take home an all-time favorite like fettuccine Alfredo for just $5 more. Hurry in for $5 take-home entrees, only at Olive Garden.
When I am helping a customer, I need to treat everybody the way I would want them to treat my family. I am a country girl, so that's what we do. I want them to know that I really want to help you. That's what I'm here for. People may not remember what you say, but they always remember how you make them feel. My name is Lola, and I am proud to keep your car running newer, longer.
Fixed right, priced right, right on time. The Triple Promise, only at Firestone Complete Auto Care.
San Antonio, Texas. Hello to you. It's only 100. Take the heat, right? We're tough in San Antonio. We can take it. 100 ain't nothing. Well, it feels like 106 with the heat index. Now I know what you're thinking. You're like, yeah, 100's okay. But when you do it day in and day out, sometimes it gets to be a bit much, right? Well, can we break the grip of this heat wave? I'd like to say it's coming, but maybe not as soon as we'd like. All right, the blazing heat has really been stubborn here, especially across the southern plains. Take it to tomorrow's forecast. Oklahoma City, we're going to have a high temperature of 100, but it's going to feel like 104. In Brownsville, Texas, a high of 98, but it's going to feel like 110. Why? That number right there, 73, is going to be your dew point. So the humidity is going to be really, really high. Summer heat all across the south because the jet stream is well to the north here. If that jet stream were farther south, it'd allow cold Canadian air to spill southly, relatively cold air, but that's not the case. High pressure is dominating here, so where you've got that high pressure and sinking air, that's where you've got the heat through the weekend and probably early next week. Heat across the southern plains, heat across the northeast. All right, think August has been hot? It has been, but what about July? Well, July of 2019 now is officially the hottest month on record across the world. Meteorologist Chris Warren shows us why this is a record that no one wants to see.
July 2019, gone, but not before leaving its mark. It is officially the world's hottest month ever recorded.
Certainly parts of the contiguous U.S. had a near normal or even below normal July, but we need to, again, keep the perspective on the bigger picture.
And that picture includes Alaska.
July 2019 goes down as a historically warm month statewide.
We think Alaska should be a cold place in the world.
Here in Anchorage, we absolutely obliterated our July heat record by about 2.5 degrees. For example, we've spent days and days and days with the temperature in our house, in the 80s, because houses are built to keep heat in, not to get heat out. Things like our commercial fishing industry is very concerned for what the increase in the water temperatures are going to mean for, say, salmon returns. So it's much more than just a little bit of inconvenience. There are systemic changes that are occurring that are going to have real impacts to real people's lives.
In Europe, 2 heat waves in less than a month. Record after record smashed in just about every country, including France, Germany, and the United Kingdom. The July heat wave moved north into Greenland, melting part of the second largest ice sheet on the planet, contributing to rising sea levels around the world.
The takeaway is the trend, right? The trend matters. And if you look at the long-term trends, they are absolutely going up and they're not slowing down. So numbers bounce around month to month and even, over the course of a year or two. But the trend is unmistakable.
Indeed, the top 5 warmest Julys are all in the last 5 years. Now the question, will July 2020 be more of the same?
Well, scientists from NASA flying over Greenland to track the melting ice there. Greenland's been melting faster in the last decade, and this summer it's seen two of its biggest melts on record. Scientists are dropping probes into the ice to help figure out which is the bigger cause of the melting. Is it the warmer air or is it the warmer water? We know that they both are causing melt. Let's talk a little bit more about 2019 being our hottest month globally. You know, you take a look, and I'll go back to this map here. You take a look, a lot of red across the entire globe, very small areas where temperatures were below average. That includes up in the Scandinavian countries, a little bit in the United States, some over the Pacific, and some over Indonesia. By and large, though, it was just blazing hot. Hottest temperature on record on the planet, 1.71 degrees above the 20th century average. And Arctic sea ice about 20% below average, a new record low for the month of July. And Alaska, we've been talking about Alaska in particular, felt it, right? Warmest July since statewide records began back in 1925 for us here. And we've seen consequences as a result, especially with the wildfires this summer. So it has a ripple effect all across the country, and including in Alaska. Still ahead on Weather Underground. Once you stick around, we've seen a lot of tornadoes this year, like this one in New Jersey. But what about twisters in the movies? Do they look real? I want you to go to our Twitter poll right now. What do you think is the most realistic cinematic tornado in history? Wizard of Oz? Twister? Into the Storm? Day After Tomorrow? Well, this is all because of the 80th anniversary of The Wizard of Oz.
Well, it finally happened, Zachary. Somebody burned down my she shed.
Nobody burned down your she shed, Cheryl.
Well, my she shed's on fire.
Your she shed was struck by lightning.
Zachary, is my she shed covered by State Farm?
Your she shed's covered, Cheryl.
You hear that, Victor? I'm getting a new she shed.
She shear?
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful news.
Home insurance trusted by more people than any other. State Farm.
You just never think that it's ever going to happen to your community.
And then it hit.
We were nowhere near prepared for what we witnessed.
Oh my God!
It was very evident very quickly that this was the big one.
How can weather be that destructive in just a matter of seconds?
Oh my God, this is how I'm gonna die.
Storm Stories, the next chapter. The hit series returns Sunday night at 8 on the Weather Channel. Currently in our area, 82 degrees under sunny skies. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, low 64. Winds west-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Friday, mostly cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 85. Friday night, mostly cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 66. Here's our 7-day outlook.
It's a lobster and crab celebration at Captain D's. Go ahead, pinch yourself. See, you are awake. And all this premium lobster and tasty crab is a reality. It's a crackin' summer celebration when the captain is calling. Captain D's.
Happy birthday! Let's blow the candles together.
Okay, let's huff and puff.
Like you do sometimes, Grandpa?
Well, when you have COPD, it can be hard to breathe. So my doctor said...
Symbicort can help you breathe better, starting within 5 minutes. It doesn't replace a rescue inhaler for sudden symptoms. Symbicort helps provide significant improvement of your lung function. Symbicort is for COPD, including chronic bronchitis and emphysema. It should not be taken more than twice a day. It may increase your risk of lung infections, osteoporosis, and some eye problems. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure before taking it.
Symbicort could mean a day with better breathing.
Watch out, piggies!
Ask your doctor if Symbicort is right for you. If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
Attention, this is a legal alert for anyone who has used Roundup Weed Killer and been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. If you used Roundup Weed Killer and have been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, you may be entitled to significant compensation A multi-million-dollar verdict was recently awarded to a man whose non-Hodgkin's lymphoma was linked to Roundup weed killer. If you used Roundup weed killer and were diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Call now.
Men, want to get your edge back after 40? With more energy, drive, performance. Do what the big hurt Frank Thomas did.
You look lean, Frank. What gives? After 40, men slow down. It's harder to stay in shape. Why? Our free testosterone levels drop. It happened to me, and then I found Nugenix Total T.
New Nugenix Total T is our most powerful man-boosting formula ever because it boosts your free testosterone and your total testosterone. From the brand that brought you GNC's #1 vitality product, Nugenix Total T helps provide even more energy, performance, testosterone, and muscle-boosting ingredients for even better results. To get your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, text IDEA to 231231.
You'll feel like a new man on the field and off the field.
I gotta try Nugenix Total T.
Text IDEA to 231231 now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. That's IDEA to 231231.
Join Liana Brackett.
And here we go.
Paul Goodlove. If you like that, I got more on the way. And Dr. Greg Postel. Weekend mornings starting at 9 on Weekend Recharge.
Well, today marks the 80th anniversary of the premiere of one of the most iconic movies in history. It was The Wizard of Oz. And it all starts, as you might know, with an amazing special effects tornado. Right there is one legit tornado, right? So we want to know, what do you think is the most realistic tornado in cinematic history? Is it The Wizard of Oz? Is it maybe Twister, The Day After Tomorrow, or the movie Into the Storm? You've been voting on our Weather Underground Twitter page. And how do we vote tonight? I think we're closing the voting. 64% of you say you like the CGI stuff. You like Twister. Only 18% of you voted for The Wizard of Oz. I thought for 1939, that looked really real. Believe it or not, it was about a 35-foot tall muslin cloth with wire mesh, and they kind of moved it back and forth across a sound stage to get the effect, and they blew dust into it with an air compressor. It was really something. How about this? Nothing scared me like the tornado in The Wizard of Oz. I saw it when I was 3, thanks to my big brothers, and I had nightmares for years. It wasn't the tornado that scared me. It was the woman on the bike and the music, and it was the Wicked Witch of the West. But look at this, the wind and everything, the panic. I thought it really captured the moment. Didn't you, Nab?
Well, the sound made it. Listen to the sound when they're showing that tornado. And in fact, in my book, it was the sound that ruined it for me during Twister. Great visual, but the fake growling turned me off. So I would go for The Wizard of Oz.
Really, it was real. I thought, you know, again, for the time period, it was really great effects. Wizard of Oz has to be numero uno. I mean, it was probably the first cinematic tornado the entire planet saw first. True.
Absolutely.
Very true,
Absolutely
right?
true.
A good point there, Tracy. And how about this one from Cheyenne? It's a hard decision between The Wizard of Oz and Twister. To me, after watching the movie Twister dozens of times, the tornadoes in the movie looks real. I don't know. The one where they're down in the ditch, I'm not so sure about that one.
And the sun was out a little bit too much for my taste, too.
Well, meteorologists, we're just nitpicking everything,
yes,
right?
We are.
Mark says, I can't believe Sharknado was not a choice here. We contemplated it, Mark. We really did. Love the humor. You got to have some levity, right? Hey, why don't you stick around? Coming up, 8 p.m., right after Weather Underground tonight, it is Weather Gone Viral. And here's a preview of tonight's episode as Mother Nature unleashes the very worst of weather.
In early September 2018, forecasters have their eyes on a typhoon forming in the western Pacific. They name it Mongoot and predict it will make landfall in the Philippines on the 16th. Mongoot roars across the island, causing catastrophic flash floods and widespread destruction. Within 24 hours, Mongoot makes a direct punch into Hong Kong, pushing massive waves into Victoria Harbor.
This is a horrible storm. You're talking about 177 mile-an-hour winds. Pressure was down to 905 millibars. I mean, look at this.
Looks like a scene from Godzilla.
You see these tall buildings that are taking the brunt with these winds, windows being blown out.
Even the 22nd floor of a skyscraper in Shenzhen City.
Man, this reporter doing his job, and in an instant, you got this thing crashing from above.
You're going to see it all next, right after Weather Underground, about 4 minutes from now. And this Sunday, you don't want to miss a brand new episode of SOS, How to Survive. Survival expert Creek Stewart shows us how to deal with any situation, no matter the weather conditions.
If you're trapped out in the deep snow, there is a way to beam a message to rescuers.
To make it, all you have to do is walk. Now, what I want to do is stamp a huge X in the snow. By big, I mean at least 20 feet by 20 feet, even bigger if possible. Now, you may be thinking, but you're not going to be able to see white snow on white snow. Well, here's the thing. In the winter, when the sun is low in the sky and it shines across this field, it's going to cast a shadow into this trough that I've stamped out to create this X. So to make this, all I have to do is keep walking. The great thing about this rescue signal is it doesn't matter which direction the plane or rescue crew is coming from. It works from all directions.
You're going to see an all-new SOS How to Survive this Sunday night, 9, 8 Central. Let's talk tropics now with our hurricane expert, Dr. Rick Nadd. The Western Pacific has been the active basin. The Atlantic, though, even though it's been quiet, you follow a lot of different things. There might be signs of life, maybe something in the Gulf of Mexico later this week.
Yeah, because I've learned over the years you can't count the Atlantic out, and usually it ramps up very, very quickly. Sometimes with tropical waves, these weather systems that go quietly across the Atlantic and maybe Caribbean, and then boom, right at the last minute, maybe near the Gulf of Mexico or off the southeast coast of the U.S., they can flare up and develop into something. We're getting into that time of year where that can happen just about any time, even when it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. Right now, it doesn't seem like it, right? Because you got all that wind shear in the Caribbean. Look, all that stable, dry air out in the deep tropical Atlantic, but the tropical waves are there. There's one in the central Caribbean struggling against that wind shear, see that? And then you have a very low amplitude tropical wave in the central tropical Atlantic. But again, the farther west they go, the more fuel there is to tap into, and unfortunately, a lot of that fuel is sitting right in our front yard that allows things to potentially flare up. So let's see if that might happen over the next week or so. Here's that one tropical wave, here's the second one, and you can see the moisture signatures of these. The one that's in the central Atlantic gets to the eastern Caribbean by Sunday, and then it kind of pairs up with the Central American gyre, that low pressure high moisture area that's often there, and they pair up, and by Tuesday of next week, combining to provide, a little bit of a system of some kind to get into the Gulf of Mexico Tuesday, Wednesday, into Thursday. So picking that up with the spin in the models, there's a little bit of spin showing up in the European model there. But Mike, what I see here also is upper level, high pressure, no wind shear, warm waters. The opportunity is there. Whether or not it'll happen remains to be seen. But at some point, the Atlantic is unfortunately probably going to deliver something we don't like.
It always does. It's like Dr. Nadd, thank you very much. And for all of us here at Weather Underground, thank you for watching. We hope you have a great night. Remember, together we know more, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
That is some serious right there, boy.
In almost every corner of the earth.
It's gonna hit the shot.